People vanish in Pine Hollow woods. They say it's the fog, or bears, or just bad luck. But those who grew up near it know better. They whisper about something else, something that watches. I never believed them, until the night I went in alone. It started as a dare. My friends were drunk and loud, gathered around a fire. 10 minutes in the woods, they laughed. No flashlight, no phone, just your boots and your balls. Stupid, right? But I was always the one who needed to prove something. I stepped past the first row of trees, and their laughter faded behind me like a radio losing signal. Moonlight barely reached through the branches. The deeper I went, the thicker the shadows became. Everything felt wrong. The silence hit me first. Not quiet, true silence. No birds, no bugs, not even wind. Just the sound of my boots crunching the leaves. It felt like the woods were holding their breath. Or waiting. I kept walking. Stupid, I know. But I told myself I'd turn back at the big oak. That's what the locals always called it. I didn't see it. Instead, I saw something else. A shape, tall, still, just past the tree line. It wasn't moving, not swaying, not breathing, just standing. I blinked hard, thinking it was a trick of the shadows. But when I opened my eyes, it was still there, and now closer. I whispered hello. My voice sounded too loud, like it didn't belong here. The shape tilted its head, slowly, like it was curious, or mocking me. I didn't wait. I turned to leave, but the path behind me was gone. I spun in a full circle. Trees. Just trees. But they weren't where they should have been. It felt like the forest had shifted behind my back, like it was playing a trick, closing in. My breathing got shallow. I forced myself to walk straight, slow, steady. No running. Running felt wrong, like it would trigger something. Like prey. Then I heard it. A soft crunch. Not mine. Behind me. I stopped. The sound stopped. I moved. It moved. Perfectly timed. Like a shadow copying my every step. I turned around fast. Nothing. Just trees and darkness. But that didn't make it better. Because now the silence felt heavier. Like the woods were watching me react. I kept going, more confused with every step. The moon, once overhead, was gone, blocked by something, or just missing. I couldn't even tell what time it was anymore. My hands were shaking. I whispered out loud, hoping the sound would make it feel normal. 10 minutes, I said. Just 10 minutes. I didn't realize I'd passed that mark long ago. That's when I saw it again. The shape. It was closer now. No footsteps. No sound. Just there. I turned my head for a second, blinked, and suddenly it was gone. I stood frozen. Not from fear, but confusion. I didn't hear it leave. I didn't hear anything. The forest swallowed sound like it was feeding on it. I took a shaky step back. The ground felt softer now, like I was walking on something that didn't want me there. I tried to retrace my steps, counting them backward. 10, 9, 8, but nothing looked familiar. The trees all leaned inward now, like their trunks were bending to watch me. Even the bark seemed wrong, wet, as if sweating in the cold air. A branch snapped to my left. I didn't look. I couldn't. I just kept walking. Forward. Always forward. But the more I walked, the more I felt like I wasn't going anywhere. Like the forest was folding in on itself, dragging me deeper with every step. I whispered again, this time to myself. It's just a dream. But my voice cracked. My throat was dry and tight, like I'd been breathing dust. I touched a tree for balance, and the bark crumbled beneath my hand, soft, like rotting skin. Then the smell hit me. Faint at first, earthy, like wet moss, but stronger with each breath. Not natural. It was the smell of something old, something buried, like a cellar that hadn't been opened in years. It made my stomach twist. I heard the sound again. Not footsteps this time. Breathing. Shallow, slow, and too close. It didn't match mine. I held my breath, listening. It kept going. I turned my head slowly, not sure what I'd see, but there was only fog behind me. And then, I felt it. Not a touch. A presence. Like something was standing just outside my sight, waiting. Not hunting. Waiting. As if the forest had chosen me, and now, I'd crossed into someplace I wasn't meant to leave. I forced myself to move again. My legs were heavy, like I was wading through mud that wasn't there. Every step forward felt harder than the last, as if the forest wanted me tired, wanted me slow. I didn't know where I was going. I just knew I couldn't stop. I started humming, anything to drown out the silence. A tune from childhood. It helped for a second, until something hummed back. Not mocking, matching. Every note, just half a beat behind me. I stopped. The echo stopped. I wanted to scream. I broke into a run. The air thickened around me, turning cold and wet, like fog filling my lungs. Branches clawed at my arms, but I didn't care. I had to move. I had to get out. The forest didn't feel like a place anymore. It felt like a mind. I tripped over something solid, wood, a post, then another, a fence half buried in moss. Maybe old farmland, civilization. I scrambled up, heart pounding. There was a clearing just ahead. Moonlight spilled across it like a spotlight on a stage. I stumbled in, gasping. For the first time in what felt like hours, I could see the sky. Stars. Real stars. I collapsed to my knees, laughing. I thought I'd made it. Thought I'd escaped. But the feeling didn't leave me. It only changed. The clearing was too quiet. No breeze. No movement. And then I saw it. Across from me, standing at the edge of the trees, barely lit by moonlight. The figure. Tall. Still. But this time, I saw its eyes. They weren't glowing. They weren't red. They were empty. Hollow, like holes punched into a face that wasn't real. It didn't move toward me. It didn't speak. It only tilted its head, just like before. Slowly. Curiously. Like it was learning. I stood slowly, never breaking eye contact. If I ran, would it chase me? If I spoke, would it answer? Every instinct told me not to move. But doing nothing felt worse. The thing didn't blink. It didn't breathe. It just watched me, like I was part of its puzzle. I took a step back. It didn't follow. Another step. Still nothing. For a moment, I believed it would let me go. I turned toward the tree lean behind me and froze. The path I came from was gone. Not hidden. Gone. Just more forest, thick and endless. My heart sank. I wasn't out. The clearing was part of it. Part of the trap. I turned back, expecting it to be closer, but it hadn't moved. It didn't need to. Its stillness said everything. This wasn't about chasing. This was about waiting. Watching. Something whispered my name. Not loud. Not angry. Soft. Almost gentle, like a memory I'd forgotten. It came from behind me, then ahead. The same voice in two places. I spun around. Nothing. Just trees swaying now, finally swaying, like they knew. A low hum started again, not in the air, but in my chest. A vibration, like the forest was alive and speaking through my bones. The ground beneath my feet felt thinner, like something pulsed underneath. I stepped away, and it pulsed again. The figure tilted its head farther, impossibly far, as if curious how long I'd last. My knees felt weak. The air smelled sweet now, like something rotting under flowers. I wanted to cry but couldn't. My fear had dried every part of me. I backed toward a patch of dark trees, picking one direction, any direction. I didn't care anymore. I just had to move. The figure didn't follow. It didn't need to. I think it knew I wasn't running away. I was running deeper. I ran until my lungs burned, not from effort, but from the cold. It wasn't forest air anymore. It felt stale, heavy, like the inside of a cave. When I stopped, I realized the trees had changed. They weren't pines now. They were dead, white, bone-like things. The bark was smooth, too smooth. My hand slid off one and came away damp. I looked down, red. Not blood. Something darker, thicker. I wiped it fast and moved on, pretending I hadn't seen it. Pretending was easier than knowing. The light started to shift. Moonlight flickered like a dying bulb, blinking in and out. Shadows stretched wrong. Longer, slower, moving as if they were alive. One shadow didn't belong to anything. It moved on its own, toward me. I tried not to watch it, but it grew bigger, wider, stretching across the ground like a blanket. Then it lifted, like smoke, standing on nothing. No shape, no sound, but it turned toward me, turned without a head or eyes. I ran again. The forest didn't let me far. The ground dipped and rose like waves. I couldn't tell if I was going uphill or down. I saw the same broken stump 3 times. I marked it the second time. The third time, the mark was gone. I yelled, screamed for help. My voice came back to me, not as an echo, but changed. Wrong. Like someone else screaming it back with my mouth. I covered my ears, but the sound was inside my skull, crawling through it like worms. Collapsed, dizzy, half sobbing, half mad. And then it was quiet again. Not peaceful, empty. Something was waiting just outside my reach. I knew if I opened my eyes, I'd see it. And I did open them. It stood inches from me, closer than it had ever been. Not a shadow, not smoke, something in between. It had no face, but I felt its gaze, felt it in my spine. My body refused to move. My thoughts weren't mine anymore. They slowed, like being drugged. I don't know how long I lay there. Time had no meaning. It could have been minutes or days. My memory started slipping. My name, my friends, my face. I tried to say something, but my mouth didn't work right. The air was syrup. Then it spoke, not with sound, but with pressure. A presence folding around my thoughts. It didn't use words. It used feelings. Hunger, curiosity, familiarity. Like it knew me. Like it had always known me. Like it had been me once. I felt warm, comforted, terrified. It offered peace, but it was the kind of peace that felt like drowning. Giving in would be easy. I was so tired. But something inside me, something small, refused. A spark, a memory. My brother's voice calling me chicken. That stupid dare. That fire. That moment before the forest. It hit me like a jolt. I focused on it, clung to it. The thing recoiled. Not far, but enough. I felt space between us. I got to my feet. I didn't run this time. I walked. The forest shifted. Trees twisted in reverse. The cold lifted slightly. I could hear again, wind, distant crickets, like a world returning. But I never turned around. I knew it was still there, watching, following without steps. I saw light ahead. A pale orange glow. Campfire. Real. Or real enough. I moved toward it like someone walking out of water. The air warmed. The world softened. And just before I stepped out of the trees, I looked back. The clearing was empty. No fire. No friends. Just ashes, long cold. Like no one had been there for hours or days. I stepped into it anyway, too tired to care. I dropped to my knees and stared at my hands. They looked wrong. Paler. Slightly thinner. Behind me, the forest stood quiet. Not hostile. Just waiting. It didn't chase. It didn't beg. It just watched. I felt its eyes like roots beneath the soil, stretching, searching. I whispered, "I'm out." But part of me wasn't sure I ever truly left. I walked for hours, maybe more. Eventually, I found the road. My car, covered in leaves. The windshield cracked with frost. When I opened the door, my phone buzzed. 17 missed calls. 17 voicemails. Each just static. And one whisper. My name. Over and over. In my own voice. I dropped the phone and drove. Didn't look back. Didn't breathe until I was miles away. But even then, the woods didn't leave me. Every time I close my eyes now, I see those trees. That figure. I tried to tell people. Cops. Friends. A therapist. No one believed me. Why would they? All I had was a story, and a scar across my palm I don't remember getting. Some nights it bleeds, just a little. Just enough to remind me it's still watching. Last week, I got a letter. No return address. Just a photo inside. Me, standing in the forest. But here's the thing. I don't remember it being taken. And in the corner, almost hidden in shadow, was the shape. Watching. Tilting its head. So if you're thinking of going into Pine Hollow, don't. Or if you do, don't stay long. Don't speak. And whatever you do, don't turn around. Some places don't want you dead. They want you changed. Or worse, they want you to stay. If you enjoyed this story, drop a comment and let me know what you'd like to see in the next video. Your ideas might just become the next nightmare.